Hello, this is a supplementary video to some of my comments that I've received from my first video that I made about the go-kart. Basically asking how I made it and what materials I used and what some of the techniques I used to actually put it together. Firstly, can I just say to my commenters, thank you very much for all the comments you've left. But also, I'd like to thank all the people who've liked the video and the dislikers as well. It's nice just to get some feedback from there. I'd just like to explain why I made the go-kart. This was really just a summer expedition, a summer project. Essentially, a couple of years ago, me and my son, who was 5, nearly 6 at the time, we were just getting bored in the summer holidays. I'm not an engineer, I'm not a scientist, I don't make things for a living. I'm actually a scientist by background, and we just decided one day just to make a go-kart. And essentially it was just one problem-solving procedure at a time, trying to put everything together, working out where all the bits went together, and just sort of put it together over a couple of weeks. So that's one of the reasons why it's not perfect, and I know a number of comments have commented on how slow it is. Well, it is for a 5-year-old. I didn't want it to be particularly fast, so just to explain, that was done on purpose. And if anyone does want to make it faster, it's very easy to gear up the drill that drives the wheel, or just to use a bigger or faster drill, which will also lead to the same result. So, you know, you can use the basic design, which I'll go through, but also, if you do want to make it faster, it's very, very simple to use. Just use a different drill or a faster speed drill. Okay, so if I show you exactly how it's put together, it's fairly straightforward. The main frame is put together with 1 inch by 2 inch solid wood, and you can see from underneath here it's just held together with bolts all across here, and the wheels at the front and the rear are just old wheels I had lying around from some old bicycles from the kids when they were a little bit younger, and I just took them off, and literally they are just bolted on, as you can see, to the actual main frame there as well. The seat is just some plywood that I've just literally just cut and put together using these little joints here. And you know, it's not perfect, and again, people have commented on how flimsy it is. Well, this is not to be driven on the roads. This is just something just to drive around in front of the house, in the garden, and just for a 5-year-old to sit on. So it's not supposed to be absolutely robust, but it's enough and solid enough for somebody, you know, who weighs a couple of stone really to sit on. The working bits, this is very straightforward. It's just a spindle with some with a joint here which spins, which I've just joined on very simply with a bit of string. Dead easy to use, works really well, and turns the go-kart really nicely as well. This is the important bit. This is just a little what would you call it, a hinge that I've put together with a little ring on, with a metal ring that screws into here, ties on with a piece of string, and it goes through here underneath the actual seat. And again, just using some eye hooks, I've tied it on, and the way it works is I've put it through and it goes over the trigger of the actual drill itself, and then behind, and then ties on to here. So it's a very, very simple, straightforward sort of mechanism. So as this is pulled, you can see, pulls the trigger and drives the wheel. This is just very simply, it's just tied on with some little plastic ties, and you've got to play with it a little bit. You've got to play with the system as to how tight you put them, as to how much pressure you put on here to actually make it go. So as you can see, if I just demonstrate now, the mechanism is very simple. If I push that with a foot, drives that, and that pushes the wheel forward. So it's just a very simple setup, something, you know, if you feel that you want to do as well in the summer. I think it was a great project, and certainly what it did was it taught my son, who was 5 at the time, you know, to work with your hands. It was really educational. It was really interesting for him to how things are put together, a few little basic sort of engineering principles as well, and just to problem solve and put things together for him. And we had a great summer a couple of years ago putting it all together, and hopefully if it's something that you're interested in, you'll want to do yourself with your children or yourself as well. Thank you for listening.